Welcome to Barbara's Bulletin, the podcast where we dive into the latest news and trends from around the world. I'm your host, Barbara, and I'm excited to share today's top stories with you. We're starting off with a fascinating story about the complex dynamics at play in the Middle East, particularly when it comes to Iran and its neighbors. As you may know, Iran has been a key player in regional politics for decades, and its internal struggles have far-reaching implications for global stability. Recently, there's been a growing focus on Azerbaijan, a country located in the South Caucasus region, which shares a border with Iran. Azerbaijan's unique position, both geographically and culturally, makes it an important partner for countries like the United States, which are seeking to influence events in the region. According to experts, Azerbaijan's secular government and society offer a model that resonates strongly with many communities in northwestern Iran, particularly among ethnic Azeris, who constitute nearly a quarter of Iran's population. This demographic connection could potentially be leveraged by Washington to shape outcomes in Tehran. The Trump administration's efforts to broker a peace deal between Azerbaijan and Armenia, known as the Trump Route, have also created new opportunities for cooperation between Baku and Washington. By serving as a key intermediary between the two countries, the U.S. is well positioned to utilize the South Caucasus as a critical springboard into Iran. However, it's essential to note that managing Iran's transformation will be a complex and challenging task, requiring careful consideration of various factors, including the agendas of other regional players like Russia and China. As one expert put it, Iran's systemic fragility presents a rare opportunity to compel behavioral change, but successfully navigating this process will require close attention to internal Iranian dynamics and regional fault lines. As we continue to monitor developments in this critical region, it's clear that the situation is nuanced and multifaceted. We'll be keeping a close eye on how events unfold and exploring the implications for global politics and stability. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Barbara's Bulletin. Welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. We're continuing our exploration of the latest global news and developments. Our middle segment today takes us to the complex and sensitive issue of foreign nationals detained in Syria and Iraq, particularly those with links to the Islamic State. We've been following the story of Jack Letts, a Canadian-British national who traveled to Islamic State-controlled territory in 2014. He was captured by Syrian Kurdish forces in 2017 and has been held without trial ever since. The recent outbreak of fighting in Syria has left the future of Letts and other prisoners uncertain, with the U.S. intervening to airlift some detainees to Iraq. Letts's mother, Sally Lane, has expressed concern about her son's fate, saying she's frantically trying to find out as much as possible about his whereabouts and potential trial. The UK and Canadian governments have been criticized for their handling of the situation, with some arguing that they should take responsibility for their citizens and put them on trial in their home countries if necessary. The issue raises important questions about national security, human rights, and international cooperation. On one hand, governments have a duty to protect their citizens from terrorism and extremism. On the other hand, detainees like Letts have been held without due process for years, sparking concerns about justice and accountability. As the situation continues to unfold, it's essential to consider the complexities and nuances of this issue. We must balance the need to prevent terrorism with the need to uphold human rights and the rule of law. The international community must work together to find a solution that addresses the concerns of all parties involved. We'll continue to monitor this story and provide updates as more information becomes available. In the meantime, we urge our listeners to consider the broader implications of this issue and the importance of finding a fair and just resolution. Welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. As we wrap up today's show, I'd like to take a moment to talk about a story that's been making headlines in the world of international relations and conservation. You may have heard that the last two giant pandas living in Japan, Xiao Xiao and Lei Lei, have left Tokyo's Ueno Zoo and are on their way back to China. This move marks the end of an era for Japan, which has had giant pandas in residence for nearly half a century. The pandas were a popular attraction at Ueno Zoo, and their departure is being felt by many who had grown attached to them. As one visitor, Daisaku Hirota, told reporters, "I lost one part of my heart when he said goodbye to the pandas." The reasons behind the pandas' return are complex and multifaceted. While some have speculated that the move may be politically motivated, given the current tensions between China and Japan, others argue that it's simply a routine part of the agreement between the two countries regarding the loan of giant pandas. As Masaki Yanaga, a professor at Tokyo Women's Christian University, noted, "If you talk about Chinese politics, the timing of sending pandas is what counts," suggesting that the decision to return the pandas may not be solely driven by political considerations. Instead, it may be part of a larger strategy to manage the loan of giant pandas and promote cultural exchange between nations. It's worth noting that giant pandas are an important symbol of conservation efforts and international cooperation. As we look to the future, it will be interesting to see how China and Japan navigate their relationship and whether we'll see new pandas arrive in Japan as part of a renewed effort at diplomacy and cultural exchange. For now, though, it's clear that the departure of Xiao Xiao and Lei Lei marks a significant moment in the history of giant panda conservation and international relations. As we say goodbye to these beloved animals, we're reminded of the importance of cooperation, conservation, and cultural exchange in our increasingly interconnected world. That's all for today's Barbara's Bulletin. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay engaged.